How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Pete's Carport. This is my new to the channel 1984 Porsche 944, and it's very broken. So let's do a walk around and talk about why I purchased this and what's going on with it. So guys, this is it. This is a 1984 Porsche 944 NA. So it's naturally aspirated 2.5 liter with approximately 143 horsepower. So nothing insane, but I absolutely love the way this looks. And I gotta tell you, I fell in love with this car the moment I test drove it, and it is a reason why I picked this one. We're gonna talk about what's broken on it, what I love about it, and what the plans are here as I walk around. So my entire life, like many of you, I dreamed of owning a Porsche, and typically, like me, you dream of owning a 911. You know, you grow up seeing them on posters, hear about the iconic sports car that Porsche made, but like many of us out there, they're pretty far out of our price range, and that is my case as well too, at least the body style and the condition one that I was looking for. So I started looking at 944s and realized I really like the style. It isn't a rear engine car like the 911, but it's still a Porsche, and the body to me looks absolutely amazing. So I've been on the hunt for quite some time, and that pop-up headlights as well just kind of drew me in. So I've been on the hunt for quite some time to find a decent 944, and I decided I was going to find one out of the original price range that I was looking. So I could find them all day long for about $2,000 to $3,000, needing work, needing paint, needing interior, and quite a few things possibly wrong with them, and not knowing any history. So this one popped up, and the owner was asking quite a bit of money because he had attempted to fully restore this car and ran into some issues. And we're going to start with the paint. So the paint looks, in my opinion, absolutely amazing. I love the bright red color. I was not a fan of it till I saw this car, but he got screwed over a little bit, because when you get close here, you will see all the orange peel, and it looks like a lot of dirt pieces that had flown into it while they were painting it. And you're going to see that on up here, you're going to see marks from the sanding. So obviously an amateur who painted it, he probably used a very high-end paint, because the paint has a very nice shine to it. It looks very deep, and they even did the door jambs. So this was kind of a negative thing for me, because I knew the owner was going to try to get back some of what he put into the paint and the bodywork and all that stuff. And so I was kind of hesitant, because I know I'm going to end up painting it or doing something with it down the road. But I really thought it looked great. You know, just drive around. I knew I wasn't gonna have to do anything to it right away, and it is an eye catcher. So that was kind of one of the negative things. Now, while doing all this, he did replace all the seals. You can see the emblems new. The lights, as you can see, they look droopy-eyed. That has a faulty relay. So after a few days, I decided to make a lowball offer on the car and waited for the gentleman to get back to me. It did take him a few days, and he finally responded. We met somewhere in the middle, and I was very satisfied with the price. So I ran down, I picked the car up. I was very excited. I mean, it was like one of the most enjoyable drives home, until I reached the driveway and I looked down and I realized, holy crap, the car is starting to overheat. And I was very upset. I woke up the next day and said, you know what, let's go ahead and just check the coolant. I checked the coolant. I contacted the owner, and he said that he had never had an issue. So I played around with a few things. I started thinking maybe it's a relay for the fans, because I noticed the fans were not kicking on. And with this vehicle, you have two fans. You have a fan that's supposed to come on when you turn the AC on over here, and then you have your cooling fan over here. So I went ahead, knowing that the AC didn't work. I didn't really try that at first, but the blower motor did work. So I decided to click the AC on and listen, and I stepped out of the car and noticed the fan came on full force. So right now I'm not sure if it's rigged up, if he's done some sort of special relay thing. Inside the fuse box, it does look like there's a relay in there that doesn't quite fit into the area, and almost looks like it was rigged up. Now that could have been a prior owner, and maybe he just drove this car around with the AC blower on. So I drove the car around with the AC blower on the last couple of days, and then out of nowhere our blower motor failed. So now we have to figure out, is the AC going to be able to go blow cold? And I think that that's a compressor based on the little bit of research I did on the car. And now we've got to figure out, why is our blower motor not working? Is it a relay or is it something internal? Now let's dive into the interior and talk about some of the other issues. So the interior is almost all brand new. So this is where this past owner put all of his money and time into, and you can see new door panel, replaced some of the buttons. The carpeting is fairly new. The seats are our original seats that he purchased in very, very good condition. He paid a lot for them. This is going to go immediately, and I think I'm going to do a Momo style steering wheel, which is very common on these cars. And let's look at these gauges. So this is the 1984 and older Porsche 944 gauges. And most people hate these gauges. I think this is what makes this car awesome on the inside. It makes it feel like a true sports car, in my opinion. And it gives it that nostalgic look, because you've got the gauges right up here as well too. You've got the clock and the oil pressure gauge. So the manual, obviously. So I fell in love with the interior, fell in love with the ride, and decided to really take a deep look into this car, and I pulled the trigger because I felt very comfortable and confident. So I had the first issue with the overheating, and then I wanted to figure out the moonroof, so which is a really cool feature of this. This thing comes completely out, and like many of these vehicles, the electrical buttons did not work. So in the trunk here, which you can see, he replaced the rubber spoiler, which looks basically brand new. You have a way to manually open up the moonroof. So I figured it out and ended up manually opening up the moonroof. But somehow, when I went to put it back down, this is the screw, there was a kind of like a gear around the screw here that decided to disintegrate, and I had to figure out another way. So I'm going to do a video on how to manually operate this, and then if you break the screw like I did, I found a way to still get it to function. So very excited about that, but I do want to fix that. So that'll be one of the things that we work on fixing. And you can see here the rear carpet's very nice. I got the original booklets for the car, and the rear seats are one part that was not replaced or redone. So we'll pull this up here. This is a 2+2, so you've got 2 seats up front and 2 in the rear. These are not in bad shape down here, but being in Florida, you're going to see there is some sun deterioration there. Outside that, it looks like he replaced your armrests, maybe some of the plastics up in here, because they look really, really nice. And he put a dash cover on here, which I know they don't last forever, but I really like the way it looks, and you can see it's already starting to warp a little bit. I decided to take my first drive with the car and remove the moonroof so I could have the sun kind of come in. It was really a cool feature for the car, and I really wanted to enjoy it. And of course, when I got back, the clouds were starting to come over, so I decided to put it back on. And my next broken thing, I ended up snapping the latch. Fortunately, these little pieces here that hold the latch in were only a couple dollars, so I've already ordered those in to replace. Not a big deal. There's probably going to be many more things like that that come along. The car itself, if you guys didn't catch that, has 96,000 miles on it, so still under 100,000, and that was probably one of the more bigger selling points to me, due to the fact that there's not many of these cars that have lower mileage like that still around. So why can't I pull this car up onto our ramps and show you guys how beautiful the underside of this car is, which is the main reason why I purchased this car, because it was so clean and so well taken care of. Well, the next issue occurred, which was just moments ago. I went into the car to try to move it so I could bring it out in the sun for you guys, and the clutch pedal decided to go straight to the ground. So I've already ordered a slave cylinder, and that'll be an upcoming video. I'm telling you right now, I bought this car so that I didn't have to fix anything and I could start enjoying it on the weekends, because our plan, me and my wife decided we're going to fully restore that beautiful car back there, which is the 500 SL. And that was our weekend fun car for the time. So we're taking that off the road and was hoping to get this thing put immediately on the road. So that was my next issue, or my most recent issue. So that needs to be fixed before I can even move the car around. And I can't even take you guys on a test drive. But we can go ahead and take a look at the engine bay. So let me go ahead and pop that open. So here's our engine bay, and lying inside of it is our 2.5 liter inline 4 that we talked about having approximately 150 horsepower, which is very, very slow compared to modern day. But let me tell you, this car is absolutely a blast to drive. It has near perfect 50-50 weight distribution due to the fact that the transaxle, which is basically your transmission, is located in the rear, and that helps out with the weight distribution. So this engine is quite reliable. You'll see these vehicles a lot of times upwards of 200,000 plus miles. This one, having 96,000, has a ton of life left in it as long as we take care of it. With that said, the past owner threw in spark plugs, so we're going to be changing those out. So there is a small leak in our valve cover, which might be a camshaft gasket. I think that's what they call it, or a valve cover gasket. Either way, we're going to be taking that apart and changing that out. From what we know, we believe the water pump and the timing belt has been changed recently. I've still got to look into that. So we might just do that anyways, since this is a interference motor, so you do not want your timing belt to break. So that is something we will probably do just as a preventative maintenance. And then we'll be changing out all the fluids, our transmission fluid, and we've obviously got to go ahead and change out the brake fluid and clutch fluid, which are in a single reservoir. So we're going to have to do that to change out the slave cylinder. Well, that about wraps it up with the new to the channel 1984 Porsche 944. I plan on doing a bunch more videos, one specifically on the features and some of the history of the car. I just wanted to show you guys what I got and talk about what already broke. So you guys that are out there looking for a car can kind of know what to look forward to. Don't be upset when something breaks. There's always a way to fix everything, and we will get to this car. You guys have an awesome day. I hope you enjoyed the new car to the channel. You guys have a blessed week, and I'll catch you on the next video.